Good morning, welcome to the Be Safe Be Well garden at the Foreglen Community Centre. I'm just going to walk you around and show you what we've got. Okay, here we go. We built a new cold frame, and this is to house all the plants during the growing process. And this is going to be used quite heavily as we're planting a lot of seeds now, which we'll use in the forthcoming spring. Now we're going to go around to the area of the greenhouse and the polytunnel. We're still growing a lot of seeds on the top here that we get on a weekly basis from Garden News, and all these will provide us with loads of plants for the spring. Okay, now we're in the polytunnel. Most of the flowers that were grown in here and the vegetables over the winter have now been finished, and what we're doing as the frosts are now starting to come in, we're now bringing in some of the plants that if we don't bring them inside, they'll be destroyed by frost. We've brought the dahlias inside and we've brought the Cape daisies inside. We've also got the last of the peppers and the chilies. So we're now in the allotment side of the garden. In here we've got 15 raised beds, and these are all of different heights, and this is because some of the service users we have are wheelchair bound, and it helps them to assist in the garden. Most of the produce has now been used, and you can see in this bed here we've got the leeks all over winter, and we'll use these in the early spring for a bit of leek and potato. The bed directly behind me has got the turnips in and the last of the cauliflowers. We're also growing a number of onion sets now, which we're leaving over the winter period. And as you can see, looking around the garden, the majority of the hanging baskets that we planted are now starting to come to the end of the season, and these will be replaced with winter plants. We're now going to go into the more formal side of the garden, where we've got the Chelsea garden. Okay, the gardens we've got here then, we've got 4 gardens in total. The first one is what we call the good old days. When the garden was being redeveloped, there was an old wooden cottage here, and a lot of the clients have said they would like to see it rebuilt. The garden that is over my shoulder on the left hand side is what we call the waste not want not garden. Everything inside that garden has been recycled, from railway sleepers to old tyres from cars, tractors and buses. Everything in that garden is all about recycling, and all the plants that are in there are all from the herb variety, be it chives, parsley, sage, lavender, rosemary, so on, and it all grows in there, and again this is all used in the kitchen. The next garden we go to is what we call the wildlife garden, and this is called Walk on the Wild Side. And the reason for this is the garden was formerly opened by Joe Mahan from Lesser Spotted Ulster, and he's always talking about walking on the wild side, and that's where the name was generated from. And in here there are a number of plants that we allow them to grow wild, and we also have what's known as an insect hotel within the garden, and this creates a lot of discussion when we get people visiting. The final garden is called Go With The Flow, and this is where we have a water feature, and the whole idea of this is where we could put some fish in there, and people would come round and feed them. Hope you've enjoyed the tour of the garden, and if you've got any questions you can ring us on 028 713 381 25 if you've got any queries, or just simply knock on the door and we'll try and be as helpful as we can. Thank you and goodbye.